Good pal.
I've been better.
Oh, boy. Man, you're that guy right now, huh? Hey, man, how's your day going? It's going.
It's going. Not good, man.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of person just needs to stay home.
Well, I tried.
Stay in bed.
I tried, but there's a job to be done.
Yeah, there is a job to be done. There are words to be said. There are things to be learned. Mm-hmm. But let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, That Would Be Rad. We are a podcast that majors in 80s and 90s nostalgia, comic culture, all things paranormal, and minors in retro video games, tabletop RPGs like Dungeons & Dragons, pre-internet mysteries, and trying to raise our kids to be half as cool as we were back in the 80s. We are your hosts, Woody Brown.
And Tyler Bentz.
There he is. How are you, man?
I'm good. As you're going to hear, I recently have come back from the Pacific Northwest, where the weather, it could not be, I couldn't enjoy it more because it's gloomy at all times. The sun rarely ever comes out. It's, it'll kind of like drizzle. It didn't really rain, which everybody kept saying like, oh, well, it's just going to rain the whole time. And like, it like sprinkled a few times, but not really. So,
did I ever tell you about the first time I ever went to Seattle?
Is this the one where you did like the
sunglasses,
the seaplane?
Well, yes, that might have been another time, but no, this is specifically about sunglasses. It's kind of related to what you're just talking about. Like you said, everybody thinks of Seattle as just like rain and it's just never sunny and everything. Mm-hmm. Well, I landed, and it just so happened to be extremely sunny. Mm-hmm. And, I'm used to wearing sunglasses. But the thing that I found out was, so basically, let me just say this. I'm walking down this street, and I've got my sunglasses on, and somebody's like, sweet sunglasses, guy. And I'm like, what? Uh-huh. I'm like, man, they're just sunglasses. It's not like I'm wearing, like, I don't know, Oakleys or something. I don't know. They're not anything. They're just normal sunglasses. And then I met with a buddy who's actually from Seattle, and he's like, dude, nobody even owns sunglasses out here. That guy was just giving you grief because, like, nobody wears them.
What?
Because that's how little the sun is just, like, blazing. Anyways, that's what he told me. I felt like a moron. But
see, I think that's dumb because by the time we made it down to Seattle, it was, like, really sunny.
Really?
Yeah, so.
Huh. Maybe it's different now. It's been, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3
60 years.
Since I was there. Did you guys catch a Mariners game? Come on now.
We did not, but we went whale watching, and I'll get there. Well, are we just jumping in? I guess.
Jump in, man.
Okay, so we kind of started up top. We started out in Forks, which as you know, it's where the Twilight series takes place.
Never heard of it. I'm just kidding, dude. Come on. Yeah, that's cool. So did you see Edward or Bella?
We did not, but we did see Bella's, the truck.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is at Forks, sort of I think it's like the like community center. It's just parked out front. And of course, my wife and girls had to have their pictures taken in front of like the Welcome to Forks sign and that whole thing. I personally hate all that stuff, which is funny because I love the subject matter, but I think it's maybe the worst acting ever captured.
It gets better in the further in the movies in comparison to that first one. He's like, hello.
Dude, it's so, it's
awful.
He's okay. Yeah, he gets better, but God, that Jacob dude, terrible. And Kristen Stewart is my all-time least favorite actress in the world. So bad.
I'm trying to think if she's in anything that like I
probably
care
not
about, and I can't really think of it.
She just comes across, well, first of all, she's a horrible actress. She does this weird like stuttery, blinky kind of like affect that I think she thinks that it sort of adds to her whatever role she's in
or something.
Yeah, but then she kind of like tries to also like straddle the fence of being like a real badass, and it just I just don't believe any of it. I don't buy it. But for any of our fans out there that love the series, sorry. I have heard that my wife tells me that the books and other people throughout my life have been like, oh no, the books are awesome. And then they go on to try to explain the books, and it's like, oh, well, this is 100% lifted from Anne Frank. I mean, Jesus, Anne Rice. By the way, this is a Mandela effect. What was the book that we read and that we had to read as a kid growing up about Anne Frank? What was it called?
I think everyone now calls it The Diary of Anne Frank or something, right?
Well,
Anne Frank's Diary or something.
Well, that was the book growing up, The Diary of Anne Frank. Now it's never been that.
What is it called?
It's like Anne Frank, A Diary of a Young Girl or something.
Yeah, but I mean, dude.
No, but I mean,
I think that's just kind of like, it's one of the, I don't remember well enough.
Well,
I know
you grew up in Indonesia.
Yeah, overseas, dude. Yeah. We had, instead of Doritos, they had something that looked like Happy Toes. I talk about that all the time.
Yeah. Well, to our regular listeners, our pure-blooded American listeners, I'm
pure-blooded American.
We all knew it as The Diary of Anne Frank, and it is no longer that. Anyway, not to drive away from the doc. Yeah, everything that I've heard is like, it just sounds like Anne Rice light, I guess.
Yeah.
Which Anne Rice is she's the creator of like The Vampire Lestat, Interview with the Vampire, that whole kind of thing, which, man, I was a huge fan of hers. Have you ever read?
I read Interview with the Vampire, and actually, not too long ago, I just didn't really care for it, man.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
mainly it was just like, I don't know, man.
I think probably it's one of those things that suffers from like, at the time there was nothing else really like it, and so
I think it's a fascinating idea and stuff. I think I don't know.
Well, with Twilight though, now it's like it's sort of like lessens the cultural kind of impact that it had like pre-Twilight.
Yeah,
I think.
I don't know. I remember when the movie came out, I thought it was awesome. I love the concept. Yeah. My favorite thing about that story in general, or just really any vampire story, is like whenever it starts diving into, Civil War era and like all of that stuff. I just love that. It's really cool.
She did like a really good job with all that kind of stuff. And so we were in Forks. We rented this little house that like I think was probably pretty old, and then they had kind of renovated things. Here's a little tidbit that kind of freaks me out a little bit. Probably the creepiest part about our whole trip. And, it has nothing to do with like some of the stuff that we're about to get into. But so this house, we stayed there a few days, and when we got there, there was like a bedroom that we didn't. So it was like 3 bedrooms. One, when we would sleep with, I slept with like Amelia one night, Elliot the other night, because they were just, I don't know, they just kind of felt creeped out. And usually I would push back, but I did kind of get a weird feeling. I was sort of like,
like haunted, or like it's like a vibe.
I don't know. I mean, like I've said on the show, like I hate when people say like, "Oh, I'm sensitive." I think that's so lame. But at the same time, like I am prone to like get a feeling.
Yeah, like at the same time, I'm sensitive.
I'm very sensitive.
I actually don't hate that. I just think there's a lot of like.
Yeah, I guess that's what I think.
Yeah.
All your like psychics on shows that are like, "Oh, I'm so sensitive. I know exactly," and then they go into like full detail, and it's like, you don't know any of that. You just made all that up. But I will get like my little like internal alarm bells will kind of go off, and so we're looking around the house. The girls pick the room that they like. And then there's like the bigger room. And then my wife was like, oh yeah, I think we're going to be in this other room. So she didn't choose it either. But that room, when I first went in, I was like, I don't know, there's something, it just felt weird. And it was odd to me that my wife didn't choose that room because it was the bigger of the three rooms. So I don't know what that's about. But anyway, we settled in, everything was normal. But I noticed before we went to bed that in that room, there was a door that was like an owner's door that was locked, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything about it because, it was like an Airbnb kind of thing. Didn't think anything about it. We went to sleep. Everything was fine. I mean, nothing really happened. But then it was strange because the next day we went out on like La Push, which is like the beaches that they surf on in twilight, which was pretty cool. Like, I'll post some photos and stuff, and it's like beautiful. It's like it's the kind of like environment where like, there's like beaches, but then there's like giant like mounds of rocks and really picturesque, really beautiful. And that was really cool. But then what was cool too is like there's all these like little tide pools, while the tide was out, which is awesome because we were seeing like all kinds of like starfish and stuff exposed. It was really cool. But then we got back to the house and we're getting ready for bed. I'm kind of making my rounds, like saying goodnight to everybody. And I went in. In the room that we didn't sleep in is the room that we just had our suitcases kind of like out on the bed. And so like if we needed clothes or needed, whatever, we would go in that room. And so everybody else was in the bed. I was kind of, doing like what we do, like going around the house, making sure. I mean, even on the first night, like I pulled down like the attic ladder, climbed up, walked through the attic, just to make
sure there wasn't somebody living up there just waiting.
Yeah, exactly. And there wasn't anything in there, which was good. Yeah. But the second night, like when I go into the room, I don't know. I can't remember what I did. Like I grabbed.
So hold on, because I'm getting kind of lost here. There was a beach. There were tide pools. Now we're in the second room. I want to make sure I understand. So basically, the setup of this house is,
3 bedrooms.
Okay, it's 3 bedrooms. Uh-huh. What does it look like on the outside? Is it older? Is it a corner unit? I mean,
It looks like something.
In other words, less about the tide pools.
Okay. I mean, the tide pools were really cool, though.
But that's awesome.
No, it's kind of like, how do I explain it? Like sort of.
I already regret asking,
Like probably built in like the 60s maybe.
Okay.
It wasn't a trailer, wasn't like a mobile home, but it was like a ranch style, just one level,
standalone kind of place. I don't know why I was picturing
no.
like
it wasn't standalone. It was in like a little neighborhood, but
okay.
But I don't know how to explain it. Like that area, like even the neighborhood sort of felt. I mean, it wasn't like a suburb, like it wasn't like a community. It was just sort of old school. How you just have like houses in a neighborhood, if that makes any sense. Like it wasn't like you pulled into. Nowadays, like you pull into Quailwood or whatever.
It's like my neighborhood.
Yeah, it kind of is a little bit like your neighborhood, but everything's very flat and it, the houses were fairly close, but all the houses were old. I mean, to be honest, Forks didn't love it. Sorry to our
friends. Just not your vibe, huh?
I mean, I don't know, the people in general just kind of had this.
Well, dude, think about what they're dealing with on a daily basis. The only reason they're even known.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like this is also probably 80% of your economy. This is why you're even able to do anything. But anyway, so yeah, the house is probably 60s ranch style. One thing that it did have, which was awesome, is it had like one of those old school like throwback arcade games. And it was cool because it was like the 2-player one, and I got pretty far on Strider, but it had like all the Street Fighters and
oh man, that's awesome.
It was awesome, yeah.
Now, however, I can tell that I need to kind of get you back on track here. So we've got 3 rooms.
Yeah,
one of them you guys are just like leaving alone. completely.
Yeah, and we have our suitcase on the bed folded out. Like that's where all of our
Okay,
clothes.
that's where your just stuff is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And so this is like the first night, when we didn't choose to sleep in there, everything was cool. Didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, and this is including me like walking through the attic, check.
Right.
There were like these weird little. It seems like it was like maybe built on like this weird little like woodworking shed off to the side, and then I don't know that it was just kind of strange. And then, and the weird thing too is like so you can tell that somebody bought this house from the 60s. It was probably pretty run down, and then they sank a decent amount of money into it to make it like modern and cool and with much better furnishings and all that. And I mean it was nice. It was cool, but like I said, there's this like locked door. Well, the second night when I come in, and again, everybody else is in bed, and I don't know, I went to grab like a shirt or something. I went in there, I flip off the light. As I'm walking out of the door, something catches my eye. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like what's funny is like there was like a split second where I was like, is this like an orb thing? And so I flip on the light, and I look, and I don't see anything. And I was like, what the heck? And so I was just like, okay, it's been a long day. I'm, jet lagged, whatever. Flip back off the lights. And just as I'm walking out, I kind of like glance back in that direction and realize that the room that's locked now has a light on in there. Boy. Yeah.
What time of day is this again?
This is probably like 10:30 at night.
Okay. So yes, not the greatest time if you're the owner to be like, hey, just kind of, I left my toolbox here,
Yeah.
But if it would have been like 3 a.m, then I would have been ticked.
I mean, still weird though.
Still weird for sure.
Because
I'm not trying to take away from that.
Well, I know for a fact that it wasn't on the night before. That's the scary part.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the next morning, Amelia my oldest, noticed the same thing and was kind of like, Dad, what is that? And so we were like in a rush, and she's like, what the heck could be in there? And so of course, because I'm kind of a pro, I pull out my wallet because I'm going to pick the lock. And Courtney comes in and she's like, that's the owner's closet, yada, yada. My wife, Courtney, talking to me like my mother, is like, don't do that. Like that's like, we're specifically not to try to like get into those. That's the owner's closet, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a freaking light on. Like, I think that.
And do we know at this point? So, for example, the place we stay in Destin, it's got like an owner's, or just like an area that's locked, and there's actually an exterior entrance into that locked area too. What I'm trying to get at is, could someone have, presumably the owner, could they have entered into that room from the exterior of the house, or is the only way?
It's only inside.
Yep. Even scarier.
Yeah, exactly. And what's weird too is,
what if it's just like, this guy's just like, I just like to stay here, but when we have renters, I just stay inside my room until they're gone.
Well, what's weird is Courtney was trying to tell me that I guess the owners are like really big on, hey, if there's any problems, like, please let us know and we'll handle it. Like they don't live in the area, and so they kind of have no control over it. It's all done through like a third party, like cleaning service and that kind of, and like, I guess like a handyman that comes, if anything were to happen. So I don't even know if she like mentioned it. I think she should have, because I thought it was weird, especially this next part, because then we go out, do our thing. We went to the Hoh rainforest, which, if there's an existence of fairies, which Woody and I most certainly do believe in, they definitely live in this place, because it's just like, it's hard to explain, like, but these forests are just like, they're I don't know how to explain. It's not like the forests are here. I mean, we have some very big forest areas, whatever, but like everything you see is like old growth, just sort of ancient feeling.
Yeah.
And like it just feels like one big ecosystem. Like it feels like if you cut down one of these giant trees, like the rest of the forest would like feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds bizarre, but
or coming alive. Come alive and just like beat you up or something.
I mean, yeah, it just feel like if you believe in like elementals and that whole kind of thing, it just, at least me, I just got the vibe of like, man, this place, it just feels ancient.
Well, I was going to say something too when you started talking about going out in the Pacific Northwest. Actually, you've been building up this punchline here about what's going on in the house, and so I'm ready for it. And then I'll get back to my first impressions.
Okay,
the first time
yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Amazon One Medical presents Painful Thoughts.
I've been on hold to make a doctor's appointment for 23 minutes now. The automated voice has told me 47 times that my call is very important to them. I'm starting to think that they don't think my call is important at all.
With Amazon One Medical 24/7 virtual care, you'll get help fast without having to remain on the line to make an appointment. Amazon One Medical. Healthcare just got less painful.
This episode brought to you by MGM Plus. From executive producer Stephen King and an executive producer of Frog comes The Institute, a chilling new original series from MGM Plus. Kidnapped and trapped in a sinister facility, gifted teen Luke Ellis must join other children to fight for their survival. Starring Emmy Award winner Mary Louise Parker, Ben Barnes, and introducing Joe Freeman. The Institute, premiering July 13th on MGM Plus.
United Healthcare nurse Crystal checked in on a patient.
We do a routine call after surgery, and I could tell in her voice that she was struggling.
Crystal knew she needed help.
And I knew that this is very serious. This is like septic. This is life-threatening.
And she knew just what to do.
And I called the hospital and said, she's coming in, here are her labs.
And got her the help she needed.
I see my role at United Healthcare as a life-saving role.
Hear more stories like Crystal's at uhc.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan area. Limitation and exclusions apply.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no dead.
Hey, this is Woody.
And this is Tyler. And you're listening to That Would Be Rad.
And now back to our show.
Anyway, all that to say, went to this rainforest, absolutely beautiful. We got to see a banana slug, which is a big deal out there. But they're kind of hard to find. But yeah, they are weird. They are cool. Saw a bunch of cool stuff. Came back home. When we came back home, you'll never guess.
Oh, boy.
The light was off.
Man.
Yeah. And so...
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Well, no, keep going. Sorry.
Well, so this night, I'm like a little more concerned. I'm not letting anybody in on my concern. So even like as we're sleeping, like I let everybody go to bed. And then I kind of laid there in bed waiting for everybody to fall asleep. And then
set booby traps.
Yeah, set booby traps. No, but then I waited till they were all asleep. And then I got up and just kind of went around searching, checking under beds, checking in every single cabinet, rechecking the attic. And this is kind of the thing. I mean, just for you ladies out there, this is the kind of stuff that that you'll never hear about, but your husbands, your fiancés or whatever, this is the kind of stuff that we do regularly.
Mm-hmm. I will say I've never gone up in an attic in any of the houses that we've rented.
That's
creepy. I'm going to have to add that to the list.
Well, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, man, I don't want to do this, but I think I like...
Just imagine. See, like, the thing is about those kind of scenarios, that type of environment, as you're walking up those rickety wooden steps to get... I mean, that's how the attic was, right? One of those pull down, the ladder comes down. Yeah. You know, those potential horrific images, you know, of what you might find whenever you just your light just happens to go into the corner and there's just some like shriveled up person that's just been living there for Lord knows how long.
That's what I kind of was thinking.
Golly, man.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like. I guess whenever you ask at first, you know, you said like, did you have a feeling like it was haunted or whatever? It was kind of less that and more of like a feeling of like, I mean, not to sound dramatic, but like kind of like being watched or something, but like that could have been like through like cameras or like
a little peephole.
Little peephole. But yeah, I got up and checked, did the whole thing, and didn't find anything. So,
yeah. I mean, the only thing I can think of, I'm not saying this is what happened, but the only thing I can think of is, let's say the cleaning crew or the property management company stores gear of some sort there, whether it's cleaning supplies or whatever it is. In the middle of the day, you know, they're knock. Nobody's, you know, the renters aren't here. They go into that thing, they leave the light on, they're like, okay, I got to get this stuff for the next property. Boom, they go do that. The next day they come in and like, oh crap, I left the light on. Click. That's one thing.
Yeah, but it's strange to me why it's whatever. Okay, if that would have had to been the case, then it would have involved. They would have had to specifically, intentionally come back to the 3 days that we were there, and that's weird to me.
Well, maybe like, you know, not if. I mean, the scenario that I'm thinking of is like their other house, and again, I'm assuming that there's more than one property.
Maybe.
But another property nearby, the vacuum cleaner broke there. They come back to this one, they use the vacuum cleaner, but they got to return it, you know, because it belongs to this property.
Oh, I see.
Kind of thing, you know.
Could be, yeah.
Because, I mean, one time, it wasn't similar to this, but like, it's that kind of stuff has happened. Oh, it was, it was the bed and breakfast that it wasn't even a bed and breakfast. It was kind of like that in Hudson, New York, where we stayed this summer. And it was kind of like they had a crew that came in every day and, you know, resupplied and restocked toilet paper and, you know, that kind of thing. But they were very upfront about it, you know? That's the difference.
Yeah, see, we were told, which again, like, I mean, your scenario that you just laid out, I mean, could have been the case. But there's one last little thing that was a little weird. And if my daughter Amelia wouldn't have heard the exact same thing, I would have just thought it was nothing, or thought I just like misheard something or whatever. So, you know, all that to be said, the lights back off. This is the last night that we're staying. We wake up that morning, you know, loading up. I'm loading up the car, doing all this stuff. And, you know, we're doing the last minute checks, kind of going around, and it was Amelia and I were the last two in the house. Courtney was already in the car. Elliot was in the car, and I think she was like, oh, I forgot I left my colored pencils, or, you know, something random. And, you know, we're doing all that, and so we're walking out of the house, and then we shut the door, and then we're doing this like little code thing that you have to do to like lock the front door. Well, just as we do that, we heard this huge like bang in the house that sounded like It's kind of the only. It's a very distinct sound. So if you guys are used to like attics, you'll know what I'm talking about. It sounded like, okay, you know, like what we're saying, the pull down attic. You know, like sometimes like if you like let it go too soon and those like steps like bang against the like.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? How it has that weird like high pitch but like low kind of thing, like, you know, because it's like the springs are
springs are moving, and then also like the wood that is that sort of that's on the ceiling, you know, is pretty thin, so it's not super deep. Yeah,
it sounded exactly like that, and
dude.
Amelia like immediately like looks at me and then just like runs to the car, and I'm just kind of like laughing because I'm like, honey, we're leaving. You know, so even if, I mean, I didn't say this, but it's like, even if something, you know, if the guy decided to come down, you know, or whatever it is, then, you know, we're out of here. So it doesn't matter. But
yikes,
it was weird. Yeah. The whole thing was just weird.
I don't know why it reminds me of so many different movies all at once. And you know, that's what I was going to say too. Are we like a product of all the things that we've watched throughout our life? Like for whatever reason, I'm thinking like Pacific Heights. Remember that movie with Michael Keaton? He's kind of like,
Michael Keaton.
Anyways, he terrorizes this couple. For whatever reason, it's like mixture of that and like even like Hereditary, you know, in the attic. Like all these things. Is that why?
What was the other movie? Was it like Frogger? Or
I don't know if
they're
that's
like teenagers like squatting in a...
And the things that we've talked about on the show before, you know, people that do that. And those weird urban legends of stuff going on. Like... Which came first in this situation? Because, like, if you're a kid, you're still scared to go up in the attic. You're scared to go down in the basement.
Oh, my kids would never go up in the attic.
My kids won't even go down in my basement. It's fully finished, dude. You've been in there. But that's where we play D&D. They will not, on their own, just go down there. It's terrifying for them.
The vibe is weird down there.
It is not, dude.
It is weird down there.
No. It's like those old school unfinished basements where there's, like, a light
in
the middle of it, but it's just like a string bulb in the middle. You got to run all the way to it, find the string in the dark. I had one of those growing up.
Yeah,
terrifying, dude.
I did too, yeah.
But guess what? I still went down there.
Yeah, same.
That's where we played Nintendo.
You have to have your Kevin McAllister moment where you overcome.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, now, fast forward, we're in our 40s, and we're going up there. Now, we're not scared to go up there. We do it, but we're scared to not go up there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, it's like you have to check it. You don't want to
do it. Yeah. Don't want to, got to. You know?
Yeah.
But that does sound terrifying, man. The fact that you hear that noise right after you leave. Like, but is somebody living in that room?
I don't know.
Next time you got to smoke them out. you just get a hose and you just get it underneath that door and you just...
I am a little annoyed that like I didn't override what my wife said.
Sounds like you're trying to just get a discount.
And just no, but I am a little...
saw that bill at the end of the thing and you're like, well, we got to get something going here.
No, but I am a little annoyed that I didn't just pick the lock just to see what was in that room.
Now, on the flip side, imagine it's your house and you've got all kinds of like gear in there. I mean, but see, I know what you're saying because you wouldn't have been in there messing something up or trying to steal anything, you know.
I just wanted to see why the freaking light was on
what if
and then
you
off.
Open it up and it's just some dude in there, man?
I mean, that's kind of the vibe, or even maybe even scarier than a dude being in there. You like open it up and it's like
whole family.
No. It's just like a full like recording software.
Oh yeah,
of cameras in all your rooms.
Yeah, man. You hear about that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah,
well, not like a full like surveillance room. Let me be clear here, but like you hear about people going to Airbnbs and then people recording them and stuff.
Yeah,
that is just
there
are a lot of weird people in the world, and hopefully your experience wasn't. Hopefully you don't end up on the internet. God.
Anyway, so we did the Hoh Rainforest, all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then we worked our way down. Well, before we got to this next place, we went to this place called Cape Flattery.
Okay.
Which is let's do a little.
While you're looking up the exact location of that, even though you should know since you just got back from there.
No, I'm going
to say my first impression whenever I went to the Pacific Northwest was It really is like a magical area.
Yeah.
You know, the more I think about it, there's, you know, I love to travel abroad and internationally and stuff, but there's so many different places here in the States. And I think so often we kind of take that for granted as Americans, man, because there's so many different environments, you know, that you can explore. And the Pacific Northwest is just amazing. Like the trees they're gigantic, man. And it really does feel like you said before, if there are fairies, that's going to be where they originated from, or at least, you know what I mean? I mean, it's awesome.
Well, the cool thing, too, is, like, the thing that I think I was most impressed by, like, my wife and I were talking about this. I think we still gravitate more to, like, Wyoming and, like, Montana. But I will say, for the Pacific Northwest, like, it is, like, there's so many sort of different ecosystems or like environments all like in the same area. You know what I mean? Like you have these like crazy sort of East Coast sort of like beaches kind of style, but then you can, you know, drive like 2 miles in and you have like the craziest, most fairy ridden forest, you know, old growth, like trees, like forest you've ever seen. Yeah. And so Cape Flattery, we kind of made a pit stop there, but it is the northwesternmost point of the United States. So it's like...
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, honestly, it's from where we live in North Georgia, it is the furthest point we could have gone away from our home and still be in the U.S.
Man.
Which is kind of cool. But it's beautiful. Like, it's amazing. It's in Clallam County, and it's on the Olympic Peninsula. And so it's also part of the Macaw Reservation. So, like, just to go through there, you had to, I mean, it was like $20 or something, but you have to get like a little thing because you're pretty much on like sort of Indian land.
That's awesome.
Really, which is really cool. Yeah. And also, I kind of think that it's part of the reason that you have a lot of these old growth forests that like timber hasn't just completely, or like the timber industry hasn't just like destroyed it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's all part of like Olympic National Park is kind of, I mean, it's massive. It's sort of like a Yellowstone in a way. So we were technically kind of in the park a lot of the time we were even out there. But so we did that, and then we went to this other place, which was this like little beach cottage Airbnb, which immediately the vibe was awesome. Like no weird feelings, but it was like it was done so well, and it was like right on the beach and surrounded by like these like tide pools, and it was very like,
he loves a tide pool.
Love a tide pool. Or not tide pools, but tide ponds.
Mm-hmm.
So like in the mornings, it would smell so bad when you would go outside. You couldn't smell on the inside, but like there's just like all these ponds around us. And so when the tide goes back out, you know, you get that like all that die off basically of marine, you know, organic marine life dies off, and so, you know, of course it smells bad. But beyond that, like, it was awesome. One thing that's cool that like I've never noticed like out here, but it's a big thing out there, is like sea glass.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
I don't know why I've never heard of this, because we collect like, I mean, you can even ask you, Woody, you can attest to this.
We collect everything.
Yeah, I collect everything, but I'll like bring you like, oh, this magical rock from the bottom of a glacial pool, you know. I like all that kind of stuff, but I've never heard of collecting sea glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. But we found a bunch of it, and this place was really cool. We called it Sequim the whole time because it's spelled Sequim. Mm-hmm. But then we would go into, by the time we got to the next area, it was, come to find out that it's called Squim. I guess they pronounce it Squim. So
there you go. That's how they knew you were from out of town.
A little embarrassing. Yeah.
We just love it here in Sequim.
Like, uh-oh. But yeah, it was really cool. We just kind of hung out. And then we finally made our way down to Seattle, and Seattle was great. Checked out Sub Pop Records. That was like a bucket list thing. My buddy set me up a tour to tour like Fantagraphics, like, which is like classic like indie comic publisher, but I guess a lot of those folks were at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. But yeah, I thought Seattle was awesome.
It's a cool town, man.
Yeah, it's super cool. And even like getting into Seattle, we did like the ferry where you just pretty much drive your car on, and then like we've done ferries before. I think with like the band, but they were never like you pulled your car into the boat and then
It's a weird
it is weird
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something strange about it. But also it was kind of awesome because it's like but anyway, we were also in this place called Port Townsend on our way down to Seattle, and we went whale watching.
Now talk to me about that, because this sounds like something that I would never do because it requires to get on a boat and seasick.
Okay, so I was worried. I don't really get seasick. What do you?
Oh my gosh! Just talking about it right now, already dizzy.
You're already like, ugh.
Yeah.
No, in the town of Port Townsend, which is a lovely little town. It kind of feels like Athens a little bit. So there's all the weird shops and cool kind of trinket places. But yeah, in the town, I had a mission to go get our Dramamine and then kids' Dramamine, and just loaded us up because they've never really done anything like that. And I was a little worried because
you just never know how it's going to affect them.
Well, back in the day, like, I mean, I'm sure I've said it on the show, but like my family had like a little timeshare in Marathon, Florida, which is like in the Florida Keys. And so while we were down there, we would do like deep sea fishing, and it's just like a regular kind of sized boat, but you're just getting
just not me
jostled around. And like the water, it's super choppy. Yeah. This boat was amazing.
Let me just say something, because inevitably this is what happens. I tell people, I get real seasick very easily, and they're like, "Well, have you ever?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, yes, I've been on boats. I went on, we used to ride this boat. It was basically like a charter from Java, the main island where I would live, where Jakarta was, to this like island where we would like camp out with like Boy Scouts and all. It was like an hour and a half trip, so that was a bigger boat. And they're like, well, maybe, you would just love a cruise. And I say, stop right there.
Now, cruises are awesome.
No, I appreciate the fact that other people get to enjoy them, but I promise you, I wouldn't get the value from the penny of the dollar that it would cost to go on a cruise, because I promise you, I'm going to get sick. And people say, no, that never happens. And then one time I was mentioning this to a friend, and she was like, no, we've never gotten seasick. I get seasick. And then her husband was like, well, I'm like, what is it? And he's like,
the truth.
We did get caught in a storm one time, and, basically everybody was throwing up and it was awful. But it went away in a day. And
that sounds
hey,
horrible.
Man, no.
Yeah.
And so it sucks because the ocean is my favorite place. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I thought that would be amazing. But dude, in Dramamine just makes me either I'm going to be knocked out and drugged up like a weirdo, which I don't want to pay X amount of money to get on a boat and be drugged up and just not enjoy it anyway. I'll just stay,
Yeah, that's a bummer because...
And, man, it sucks because I would love to see whales and I can be on some boats as long like we did a river tour of the Hudson and all this kind of stuff. I can be on larger boats, and I can be on a small boat too, as long as it's moving. So when I went on when my wife and I went on our honeymoon, we went out on this boat and we were snorkeling and stuff, and then there was like this shipwreck, and so he drove the boat over to the shipwreck. The second that he turned off that stupid motor,
and
the boat was just like moving with the thing. I was like, hey sir, I got two options right now. I'm going to jump out and swim back. Or we can just get this puppy going.
Yeah. There. I know what you mean. There is something. Although
I just can't do it.
With this boat, like on our way back, we experienced like what he was like. This is probably the most rough it's ever been.
That's what I see, dude.
No. But listen, but this boat was like so awesome that even that, like, you didn't feel it. Also, my daughter Amelia, who she was the main one that I was worried about because she's probably the most like me, and so gave her a Dramamine to begin with. And you can give them two. It's like kids Dramamine. I gave her one to begin with. And then midway through, because like you said, we kept like stopping. But it wasn't like probably what you're thinking. Like this boat was so freaking stable. And I kept saying over and over and over, I was like, man, when I was a kid, like we used to go, like, I don't think you guys understand just how smooth this boat is, because any other boat that I've been on in these waves.
Dude, by the way, such a dad thing to say.
I'm being honest though.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just, that's exactly what a dad would say. Now, you kids don't understand. Now, this boat here, and you're slapping the side of it. This boat here is
bad, boy.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
This is very stable. You're looking at the captain, you're giving him a thumbs up.
I'm like winking at him. I'm like, hell of a boat, sir. So like we kept stopping when we would like see whales. And it was amazing. We got to see like a little pod of orcas, which my wife,
favorite.
Courtney, mine too. My wife, and that was the thing too. Courtney had to like get everybody excited. So when we were in Squim, as they call it, in our little beach cottage, she made us watch Free Willy to lead up to this.
Nice.
Which kind of still holds up, man.
Yeah. It made you cry.
It didn't make me cry, but I wanted to make fun of it because the kid, he really chews up the scenery some of the times, in the acting department. But it's pretty good, though, actually.
I haven't seen that movie in...
I hadn't either.
30 years.
Same.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Anywho, by the way, the dad is the guy that just passed away. So rest in peace. The guy that was on...
Ozzy Osbourne.
No. Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne was the dad in Free Will. No, the dude that's in the
Theo Huxtable.
Yeah, Theo Huxtable. No, the guy that's on like he's on he does a lot of
Hulk Hogan.
Tarantino's stuff.
We've had a lot of them, man.
No, the dude.
I know what you're talking about.
What is his
He's
name?
like the poor man's Tom Sizemore.
Who the heck is Tom Sizemore?
What? I don't know. He's an actor that was... It doesn't matter. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name either, but he was in The Hateful Eight. He's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
He was in, Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, he's in that. Rest in peace. He recently passed away. Lived a good life. Was in some killer movies. But anyway.
No, I don't think I ever knew that Ozzy Osbourne was in Free Willy.
You're so stupid. Anywho, we saw a pod of orcas, which is really cool. And all the guides were like, especially this one girl was like really, really cool because she was very like scientific with it. So she's like taking photos and then she's pulling it into the computer, trying to match like certain like fin shapes and stuff. And she's like, oh, this is BH1376.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then he was like, well, let's just keep going. So then we kept going, and then we saw a humpback whale.
Man.
Kind of like doing its flips and tails.
Like, how far away are you whenever this is happening? It's not right beside the boat. You're not feeling the water splash.
No.
Okay.
Probably like, I'm so bad with distance and time. And
you probably didn't notice because you're just too busy slapping the side of it going, this is a butte.
This thing right here.
This is a ship. Hey, Cap.
This is the one.
This is the one. Yep.
What is the car on Lampoon's Vacation? Something family cruiser.
Oh, man.
The green one?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. God, Boo Boo used to do that so good. Anyway, so, I don't know, pretty close, 300-400 feet out, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that. Still pretty amazing. Anyway, so we did the whale watching, came back through, did a little drive, got on our ferry, saved a whole bunch of time, came in, stayed at this really cool hotel called, The One, Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Then the next day we did the whole Pike Place Market, and
that's really cool too, right?
Dude, I love that area.
It's amazing, dude.
Yeah, man. It's kind of wild though.
Mm-hmm.
We've been into a lot of sort of city, but it is definitely, it's cool because you go into I guess this marketplace, Pike's Place. So there's the first Starbucks. We were going to go in and then
it's just too crowded, man.
The line was mad. And it's what are you going to do?
Yep.
I have one like a mile from my house. So, but we got to see them throw the fish and do that whole thing. But I got to check out apparently the oldest comic book shop in the world.
Yep. That's awesome.
Which, by the way, was it like almost impossible for you to find this place?
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
You're just like walking around like, wait, where is this thing?
Yeah, I'm looking, and then they're like, oh, there's like 3 stories underground.
Mm-hmm.
We ate at this fish place, which I guess they filmed like Sleepless in Seattle there.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
Very overpriced. Not very good. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like we went to this magic shop that the girls loved, and they had like, from Big, like the Zoltan machine and all that stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Courtney gets a little weird about all like the, mystical stuff. She's like, girls, look away. And I'm like, oh, but I want to go in there. But yeah, it was really, really cool. Anyway, all that to say, and then I got to go into Sub Pop Records, which is the birth of, bands that you may have heard of, like Nirvana.
A little Seattle band you might have heard of called Nirvana.
And like Mudhoney and stuff. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I thought Seattle was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Isn't it neat too? Like the Pike's Place is kind of like lower and you have to go back up those long hills to get back up to the city part. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of, which I've, oddly enough,
kind of San Francisco.
I was going to say, I've never been to San Francisco. I always planned on it when I lived out there. But
I mean, San Francisco is cool. Don't get me wrong. I like Seattle better.
Yeah.
In some ways. There's other stuff in San Fran that's pretty cool. But man, I wish you guys could have gone up to that Indonesian restaurant that I was talking about. That'd have been kind of cool. I don't know if the kids would have liked it though.
Yeah, doubtful.
Yeah, man, I love Seattle.
All right. So, in saying all this as a preface,
okay,
I discovered while we were out there, that there's a lot of cryptids in the area, and boy, I should have led with this, huh?
Yeah, probably should have.
We'll return after these messages.
Hi, welcome to IKEA.
This is my college campus.
Correct, but I see you're on IKEA.com ordering some college items.
My daughter's room is pretty bare. We need a lamp, some comfy pillows, her favorite stuffy.
Dad!
With pickup options, we've got what you need to conveniently order IKEA. Literally anywhere.
Sweet. More time for gaming.
And studying. Wait, where are you going now?
Got to show the ultimate Frisbee team how easy it is to order from IKEA. Get IKEA whenever, wherever, however you want. Choose from thousands of pickup locations, affordable delivery options, and more.
Pretty cool place if you're a Martian.
Or a vampire. You think you really know what's happening around here, don't you?
Is anyone out there?
We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way.
Hey, this is Woody.
And this is Tyler. And you're listening to That Would Be Rad.
And now, back to our show.
We probably should give like a preface up top of like, hey, Tyler's going to ramble about his trip.
I think at this point people are used to it.
Yeah, that is true.
Dude, I was gone the entire month of June. Went to so many different towns. These poor people, they haven't heard my play-by-play.
Should we do it?
So then on the next day, my son had to go to the bathroom. And then we had breakfast. And then we went into the car and we drove. I'm just kidding, dude.
You were so dumb.
They're used to it. They're here for it. Let's hear about the cryptids, though.
All right. So, as we know, Washington is a pretty big home place for Bigfoot. It's a little different out here. The classic Bigfoot, obviously 1958, California. But the ones in Washington, I've noticed, are saying that they're up to like 10 to 15 feet tall.
Whoa.
Have you heard about this?
No.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And then they're also, so it is very different from like the Bluff Creek stuff that we've talked about.
Right.
With like the, like Patty and stuff. Like these have like really dark hair. And they're like, 10 to 15 feet. That's like much taller.
Yeah. Well, like how tall do people say that Patty is? Maybe like 7?
No. I thought it was like 8-ish feet.
Yeah. But I mean, 15 feet is, of course, everything's bigger out there in terms of like the trees are bigger. Maybe the environment
that's true
is such that it sort of leads them to evolve into bigger.
Yeah.
If we're believing that they're biological creatures.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah. One of the things that I found out that was interesting is that, Patty and that whole thing, like, and especially with California being such a massive state. I mean, it pretty much takes up the whole coast on the West Coast. But according to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, BFRO, Bigfoot has been spotted 461 times in California.
You're just talking like ever?
No, I think this is over the course of like a 2-year
Oh, wow. Okay.
thing. But then 700 times in Washington.
Man.
Which is kind of crazy. So it says Pierce County may be Bigfoot's home. The county has 83 listings, the highest number of reports in the state. In Skamania County, the county council passed a law, I remember hearing about this, forbidding any killing of a Sasquatch, or you could be fined up to $10,000 and imprisoned in jail, in the county jail, for up to 5 years.
Man.
Which is kind of crazy. I think we covered some of this before when we got into the Valley of the Headless Men stuff.
Hear more about this incredibly horrific story on That Would Be Rad, Season 1, Episode 41, The Valley of Headless Men.
But it says the common name Sasquatch comes from the Salish Sasquatch or Sixquatch, I don't know, I'm messing that up, which means wild man. As we know, the bipedal, hairy primate is often known to, avoid humans. He's always kind of keeping out of view, hiding. They kind of stay away from any sort of human existence.
Well, I mean, thinking about it in terms of, even though California is like very, like you said, long, in comparison to something like Washington or certainly Georgia or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about the Pacific Northwest and the environment that it has, I mean, just so the woods are so thick and dense, I should say. And in comparison to, a lot of areas that are more and more becoming overly developed. Now, Northern California, though, still pretty awesome in terms of the vast expanse of wooded area.
And like the redwoods and stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it seems like environmentally, Pacific Northwest would really provide a pretty awesome place to kind of to live,
Well, also I think like outside of Seattle and Portland, which we didn't go to Portland, but outside of those two sort of, quote, major cities, kind of like what we did, I would imagine that like anybody that's coming into these places are there to, hike or do things outdoors. Whereas like with California, I guess it's like a little bit, I mean, it's still happening in California.
There's still that stuff.
But there's so like, it seems like there's so, such a smaller amount of people that are like local in the like Washington State,
right?
Than there would be in like California. But I don't know. That's just me. The next one is one that I've heard forever, and I didn't realize that it was kind of a Washington State kind of thing. But that is Bat Squatch.
What?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this?
I've never heard of Bat Squatch.
Oh yeah, dude. I heard about it like several years ago, and for the longest time, I thought it was sort of like maybe like a joke, or like, oh, this just seems like some sort of play off of, it's kind of like a mix between like Mothman and Sasquatch. But it's found supposedly in Cascade Range, and some of the indigenous tribes claim to have seen it like, way back when. But I guess the first like sort of official sighting in the modern age is April 1994 near Buckley, Pierce County. So Brian Canfield, an 18-year-old Washingtonian, was driving in Pierce County nearly 3 decades ago when his car engine suddenly died. I mean, this feels like a horror movie already.
Mm-hmm.
Before him appeared a winged 9-foot-tall creature with claws, blue-tinted fur, and tufted ears.
Man, maybe we have talked about this.
Well, I've wanted to do a full episode on it, but I've never... there's not a ton on it, which is part of the reason why we haven't. So this, I mean, it's like... that's like a giant fear. I mean, your engine goes out. You have to get out of your car like, oh man, what's going on? I'm like out here by myself. And then boom, you see a bluish black Sasquatch with, bat wings. Another guy reported that a Mount Rainier area youth spotted the creature while driving in the foothills of the mountain. Someone else talks about it stopping in front of their car for several minutes and then flying off in the direction of Mount Rainier, which, by the way, Mount Rainier is gorgeous.
Yeah, right? Amazing.
So tall. You can pretty much, we could see it pretty much wherever we were, which was really cool. Oh, it says that actually in an article, Canfield is the only eyewitness account, like a close-up encounter with Bat-Squatch, who is said to roam the Cascades. The creature, according to the lore, the creature once lived on Mount St. Helens, though, before the 1980 eruption, and then supposedly it fled to Mount Rainier. Which
Maybe it's sighting. Well, no, because that was like 94 is what you said. When did Mount St. Helens erupted in?
I thought that was the 80s.
80s, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but the 1980s.
I was going to say like
eruption.
a harbinger of doom.
Dude, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But man, imagine like that first scene, or that first sort of scene that you described, where it's like the car shuts off, a la Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But you know, now that you've been out there, those remote mountain roads, man.
Oh yeah,
I mean, that's
dude.
That is extremely spooky.
Yeah,
your old truck just and then all of a sudden, a beast with wings.
Yeah, and I will say, even like from Cape Flattery to the Hoh rainforest, like there is like, and again, it goes back to that what I was saying at the top of like feeling like this forest is like one living ecosystem, one like kind of being, whether it's like some sort of elemental kind of thing, like you do get the vibe that like something is watching you, which is interesting. Oh, one of the other things that even as of June 2025, I forgot to bring this up, there's a classification of thunderbirds in around the Hoh rainforest where I was talking about, but they're completely black, and so they call them like the thunder crows.
Oh man, that's cool.
Which is really cool. Yeah, but there's
are they like big, or are they like normal sort of? Okay.
No. They're like thunderbird size sightings.
Oh, man,
which is pretty fascinating. The other thing too is like, I mean, these places, like even though they're here in the States, like, I mean, they're kind of legit rainforest. Like it's hard to see through the canopy. Like there's like it feels like there's a canopy. It's always dark in there. So honestly, it'd be easy for me to imagine that like these giant birds, like a thunderbird type thing.
I'm not saying that this is exactly the same, but it is similar in a sense. I just saw this thing of they just found this. I mean, dude, whenever I say like Anne's worst nightmare, they found this stick insect in Australia that's winged, and it is the size of like your forearm, dude.
I mean, that is Anne's,
right? And so, I mean, it's not. I don't know. I understand the skepticism that would come with, all of a sudden there are birds that are the size of dang, small planes. I understand that, but man, I don't know. Everybody should keep their mind open because I mean, it could be possible.
Yeah, I mean, especially out there because it's just such a, I don't know. Everything is it's just so like thick that, I mean, who knows what could live out there, But yeah, the Basquatch is something that's really cool. And I kind of think that, like, if in the future, or if our listeners, if you guys know of any sort of place or like an aggregate of, like, you know, more recent encounters of the Basquatch, write in or call in, because we'd love to hear about it. Because I've heard about it for several years, but I've just never really found a lot of, I mean, you know, you come across like some of the Reddit stuff and it's like,
yeah, somebody made it up. But
yeah,
you know, what's interesting too, though, is like we talk about this all the time on the show, probably annoyingly so, but it could just be one of those sort of mislabeled situations.
I mean, that's a
it
weird
could
one,
be,
though.
huh? No, I'm saying like it could be something closer to Mothman or the what's the one, the black
Blackbird of Chernobyl.
Yeah. Those sound so similar that it could be something like that. I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying somebody sees it real quick, they're freaked out. They've never maybe even heard of the Mothman, you know?
Well, the only thing that's weird is the detail about, because it was like, it was standing outside of this particular guy, the Canfield guy. He got a view of it like over like 10 minutes or something. And one of the details was like it had like bluish black fur. And that's something that I don't think is in any of the
like Mothman stuff.
I mean, that feels more like a, you know, like sort of mammal type. I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? It feels more.
The difficult thing too would be in a scenario like this where someone sees something that unique.
Yeah.
You really can't come to the many conclusions other than, number one, hey, he's making up or he's crazy. I guess that's two, right? Or the third one is there's something out there. you know? I mean, because it's not, you can't, in other words, it can't be mistaken for a, I remember when we talked about thunderbirds, or anytime we've talked about large birds, sometimes people can say, well, I mean, it could be one of those big, like a crane or a, large waterfowl, which, dude, I forgot to tell you this. There's a group of, I think they're herrings that
they get
flew over my house, dude, the other day.
They're awesome.
I'm not joking. I was like, hey, man, I think there's a thunderbird above me. It was just the wingspan was so huge that it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And so I can see how that happens now. In this scenario, though, you can't mistake that.
Yeah, and it said it had like large, sort of pointed, like tufted hair, like ears. I mean, it's straight up like Batman or Man-Bat, really.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it was a vampire. Maybe it was Dracula.
I mean, maybe that's where
Edward and Bella came from.
There you go. They're
full circle.
Their child, yeah. That's what we call in the biz a callback.
Mm-hmm.
The next one.
So then we went to breakfast, and then we.
Anyway, the next one is the Cadborosaurus, aka Caddy.
Don't know it.
Now, if that nickname sounds familiar, it's
Bill Murray movie. It's called Caddyshack. It's actually about.
Well, no, because there's a Nessie, there's a Champy, but it is found in the Puget Sound in the Strait of Juan de Fuca, October 1933, in Harrow Strait. Again, however, like the Indians in the area claim that they've spotted the creature like much earlier. Some cryptozoologists claim the Skagit River atlatl, which is a spear-throwing cryptid, may depict the Cadborosaurus. But basically this thing is it has a snake-like body. It's 150 feet plus long.
Disgusting.
It has a camel or horse-like head, flippers and humps along the body.
Okay, now we're starting to get crazy.
Yeah.
So the face of it, or head, looks almost like horse or camel.
Yeah.
And then it's serpentine, 150 foot long body with like paddle fins.
Yeah, which it kind of feels like, what is the one that the Altamaha?
Yeah, Altamaha.
Here in Georgia, actually. Which that was like a river
sort
of monster.
And this one is said to live where? Just out in the sea?
Yeah, so like I guess the Strait of Juan de Fuca is sort of
right. Okay.
It's kind of like in between Washington and then Canada. It's sort of that little waterway. But yeah, it is. In 1933, a man told the Victoria Daily Times that he was sailing through the Haro Strait between Vancouver and San Juan Islands when he and his wife saw the sea serpent. The man reported that it was greenish brown in color and had markings along the top and sides. Then sort of it became a frenzy. Witnesses all around Vancouver Island, in British Columbia, and around the Puget Sound reported seeing the serpent. Archie Wills, an editor of the Victoria Daily Times, held a contest, which these are always awesome, to name the creature. According to Ellie Bragg's Myths and Mysteries of Washington, the winning entry, Cadborosaurus, was named for Cadboro Bay, just north of Victoria.
Man, this is like 1933.
Yeah.
See, these kind of things I like.
Love
because
them.
they do throw a little water on the opening of the portal by
Aleister Crowley.
Aleister Crowley, because that was fairly past 1933, you know?
Yeah, and much like, Nessie, what Woody's talking about over in Loch Ness, Caddy is known to be pretty harmless. It would rise up, glare, take a look at the seafarers, and then disappear back down into the depths. While some of Caddy's physical features, like the humps on his back, may differ slightly, all witnesses agree that the marine animal can lift most of its neck out of the water.
Jeez Louise.
Which, that's crazy, right?
Well, I mean, I just imagine some poor souls out there on a canoe.
Yeah, right.
And this thing just lifts out of the water. Yuck.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, and if you do give credence to the surgeon photo, the Loch Ness photo, even though years later, like, he claimed it was like fake, and then he sort of, I think on the guy's deathbed, he was like, no, it's not fake. I made all that up. It actually was real. The classic Nessie black and white photo where you see like the whole neck. It looks like a periscope.
Yeah.
Sticking its head out of the water. I imagine that's what they're talking about.
We will return after these messages.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Enjoy complimentary access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Are you ready to dairy-free your mind? This summer, melt away your dairy-free expectations with So Delicious dairy-free frozen desserts. Enjoy mind-blowing flavors like salted caramel cluster, chocolate cookies and cream, cookie dough, and more. For over 35 years, So Delicious has been cranking up the flavor with show-stopping products that are 100% dairy-free, certified vegan by Vegan Action, and are so unbelievably creamy, your taste buds will do a double take. Dairy-free your mind. Visit SoDeliciousDairyFree.com.
Ford Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving takes the work out of being behind the wheel, allowing you to relax and reconnect, while also staying in control. Enjoy the drive in Blue Cruise-enabled vehicles like the F-150, Explorer, and Mustang Mach-E. Available feature on equipped vehicles. Terms apply. Does not replace safe driving. See Ford.com/BlueCruise for more details.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
Hey, this is Woody.
And this is Tyler. And you're listening to That Would Be Rad.
And now, back to our show. Well, I'm looking at pictures of this thing. This thing's awesome looking, man. I mean, it kind of looks like a sea dragon.
Yeah, also the horse thing reminds me of sort of the ancient Irish lore with like the water horse.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Man.
Oh, which by the way, dude, I wasn't able to finish it on the flight because like we kept having some crazy issues with like Wi-Fi and stuff. But I saw the first half of that movie, Death of a Unicorn,
with Paul Rudd and
the girl from Wednesday.
Yeah,
dude, I thought it was
Is
awesome.
It good? Really?
I loved it. I
Okay,
mean, it could be
I'll check it
terrible,
out.
but
I'll check it out. I don't know. I started to watch it the other day and I didn't get very far, but it wasn't its fault. It was just a busy day.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. This is one of those sort of cryptids, if you will, that I feel like there's a certain level of like high strangeness that to me tips it into being more real than like made up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like
this seems more like when I'm looking at the pictures here, these types of creatures, I guess all of them really in some way. I mean, Bat Squatch, not so much, but like even Sasquatch, but like Loch Ness Monster, a lot of those seem more like ancient creatures that, are still kind of around and just remotely, just like living remotely and obscurely, I mean, because you think about things like certain turtles and reptiles and stuff that can really have a long lifespan,
Yeah.
As far as Sasquatch goes, if someone's compared it to like an ape, maybe not so much, and bears and that kind of stuff. For some reason, I think that's why it's easier for me to just kind of lump them together or lump them into a category of, from a biological standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's also why my favorite quote unquote cryptid is the Flatwoods monster, because it's so different than sort of the flesh and bone, fur or scales kind of thing,
Well, that's what I mean by like having like that level of like high strangeness. It's like it's so weird that it seems like it seems counterintuitive for somebody to make something up that's so outrageous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like it almost seems like, okay, well, I'm going to make up something. Well, it's at least going to have these markers that would kind of anchor it into reality as being something that could be real. Instead, it's like having like a head of like this, and
it reminds me of some of those. Remember those the cryptids that we talked about, like with the moose face or whatever.
The fearsome critters of the lumberwoods.
Yeah.
Hear more about these fascinating cryptids on That Would Be Rad, Season 4, Episode 2, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of. This caddy is sort of that type of cryptid that sort of borrows a lot of physical features from other animals and stuff. But, also, man, it does go back to that in a way. When I asked that question about, are we nervous or do we think bad things are in an attic or do we think it's strange that a light is on when it wasn't yesterday and there's only one way in, is all of that a product of our own sort of life experience? And I think, it's kind of a complex question, but simplistically, it's like, yes, of course. And so imagine being somebody in 1933 who doesn't really have any sort of experience with the things that we do, cryptids, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden they see this thing popping out of the water and they're like, oh my God, and they're just trying to describe it the best way they can. It's like, yeah, the face wasn't really like a snake, which is more like squat, it was longer, and they don't have Nessie as a reference point. So they're like, yeah, it was kind of like a horse, like really long.
Yeah.
And, and I can just imagine them just trying to figure it all out. It's funny because here in the studio, we've got a couple little cryptid figurines. One of them is kind of like a lake monster. It reminds me actually of Caddy.
Yeah. I think there definitely is something to, like Champ or Champy on Lake Champlain, Nessie, Caddy.
And there's the Hudson River monster. Trust me, that's what I was doing the whole time I was on that stupid boat trying not to get seasick, was looking for the river monster.
Yeah. Which I think that one is actually a little bit closer to my next one, which is also sort of a water monster, and that is the Lake Chelan dragon in Chelan County. This first sighted in 1812. Its characteristics are, it's a sea creature with the legs and body of an alligator, the head and eyes of a snake, a scaly tail, but then bat wings, which is amazing. This, going back to Lake Champlain, reminds me of this particular lake, which has a maximum depth of 1,500 feet. It is the third deepest lake in the country. Some indigenous legends said there was an extensive system of underwater caves, and somewhere in the depths hid a beast called the Nahahatka, which is weird because that sounds kind of like the Altamahaha. White settlers later told tales of a beast related to the Loch Ness Monster, brought over, this is fascinating, brought over as an egg by a Scottish pirate on a voyage to Washington in 1812. When the egg cracked open and a hatchling emerged, the myth even spawned an episode of Animal Planet's Mysterious Creatures with Forrest Galante. The creature's next sighting wasn't until 1892, when 3 young men were swimming in the lake and the dragon latched onto one of the man's legs. The man's friends tried to wrench him free, later telling others that the beast remained latched onto his legs, soaring into the air and disappearing with the victim, who was never seen again.
Jeez.
I mean, that's kind of nuts.
That's something that I never even thought about as like a possible thing, like somebody getting an egg.
Like, yeah, physical. Like we're talking about like, oh, there's like some kind of connection thing. What if Lake Champlain? Mm-hmm. What if the Hudson River? They're all just eggs of nesting. Mm-hmm. That's
really
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I got a few more. I know we got to wrap up because I took forever talking about this light and this weird room.
Jeez Louise.
The next one is seen in Oregon and Washington, and that is the gumbaroo, which is bear-like. It has hairless, black, leathery skin, but it does have bristly chin hairs.
Okay.
The gumbaroo is said to live in the large stumps and burned out cedars of Pacific Northwest forest and spends its day eating whatever it can in the area. The gumbaroo's appetite is so enormous it could eat a horse in one sitting. During a forest fire, the indestructible animal will burn and reawaken. A myth from old-time loggers, this trickster will use its long black tail to trip you. The gumbaroo also has an impenetrable hide, so an arrow or bullet shot at the creature will rebound right back at the shooter.
Did I swear this is one of them that we talked about?
That's what I was thinking. This, and then there's one more that I'm gonna cover in a second that feels very, very similar. This one, however, is really interesting though, and it's called the basket ogress. She lives on sort of in coastal areas. A large woman, often with a large basket on her back. The thing that's weird about this, the first thing I thought of was David Paulides' Missing 411, where there's that story of, I know the kid's name was Dennis something, where basically this kid goes missing. It's really terribly sad story, but basically this family is in a national park, maybe Yellowstone, somewhere like that. This kid goes missing. This other dude in like a completely other area happens to report a sighting that he had where he saw what looked like a wild man, basically looked like a Sasquatch, running full speed like up the side of a mountain, and he had like what looked like a kid or a person on his back. And so for some reason it kind of reminded me of this, but Salish myths tell of the basket ogress, or wild woman of the woods and shores, a cannibal woman who would sweep up unaccompanied children. The tale of the ogress was often told to children to warn them of the danger of getting lost in the woods. You know, cautionary tales.
It kind of follows that like old hag.
Right. Yeah, almost like
there's one in Alaska, but she's in the water. That's terrifying. Bro.
Oh yeah, or even like the La Llorona.
The ones in the Philippines too. I mean, there's I love all these tropes.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, but again, like they could be like very cautionary tales, kind of.
Yeah,
you know, to keep your kids in at night. In Salish myths and legends, one people's stories, oral Lumi, Clallam, and Squamish tellings of the basket ogress provoke imagery of a giant woman who would steal crying children, also Krampus, sweeping them into a massive basket she carried on her back. I mean, dude, that's literally Krampus. The exact details of the story and the name used for the ogress varies in each language. Coast Salish people are a diverse group of more than 40 nations and 20 languages between Washington and coastal British Columbia. More clever children in the stories are often able to evade her. So yeah, that's
man,
pretty interesting. One of the ones that I thought was really, really cool, and I'm kind of skipping through because there's actually a lot. There's the Amhuluk, the Kalapuya First Nations people, have a legend about a water dragon that lives near the current home of the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde community of Oregon. The stories say the dragon was horned, covered in spotted fur, and was associated with drowning, disease, and the malarial fog. I don't know what that is. Amaluk is featured in multiple Godzilla movies, including Godzilla King of the Monsters, with his first full appearance in Godzilla Dominion. Do you remember this?
No.
I don't either. Same kind of thing. There's this Wallowa Lake, and there's, as you guessed, Wally, a mythical creature, very much like the Loch Ness Monster. This one's weird. The Tata Klea is a story from the Yakima tribe about a creature described as a witch owl. The creature lures children into the forest to kill by mimicking the voices of people they know. I mean, that's our pal, Tim Marchenko, Disembodied Voices. Unsuspecting children are then snatched up and devoured, never to be seen again. But yeah, it's basically like, imagine a witch, but it has the face of an owl, which is pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, I know we got to go quick, but I found one, and this is specifically for you, Woody.
Oh, boy.
And this one actually does take place in Oregon, but I had to include it. But along the sandy shores of Oregon, you'll find the small coastal city of Cannon Beach. But to get there, you'll most likely have to drive through Highway 101. It's a seemingly normal highway during the daytime hours of the day. But if you believe the legends, at night there is a mummy-like ghost that patrols the highway looking for victims. This is the story of the legend of the Bandage Man.
Oh, boy.
I mean, this feels like your movie you're always kind of looking for.
Yeah.
During the Second World War, sawmills in Oregon saw an increase in production as construction boomed due to labor shortages. As the men and women working at the mills rushed to complete their task, it's no surprise the number of accidents shot up. It's said after a bad rainstorm, a logger slipped and slid into one of the saw blades in a way that left deep gashes down his body. His co-workers were quick in getting an ambulance to arrive, and seeing the severity of the cuts, the medics wrapped his entire body in bandages. The ambulance sped off, but coming upon a bend on Highway 101 near Cannon Beach, the slippery road caused the ambulance to crash. A short time later, I mean, it sounds like a horror story, but I freaking love it. A short time later, police arrived, finding the medics unconscious and the man wrapped in bandages was gone.
Oh, boy.
A search was conducted over the course of the next 3 days, but eventually was called off, and there were no reports of him wandering into a hospital, no sightings, and many due to the injuries. This dead body...
I guess probably people thought that because he was so badly injured that he would probably just end up.
Yeah. They would eventually find the body. The writing's a little weird here. The only thing, however, that was found was a small pile of bloody bandages.
Dude, you're not joking. This does sound like, what if...
Yeah, isn't this weird?
It sounds kind of like the thing that I think is a movie, but maybe I saw...
I mean, it keeps getting even crazier. Several years later, a young couple parked their pickup truck along a secluded section of Cannon Beach on Highway 101 late at night. Moments after parking, the two heard rustling sounds coming from the nearby woods.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Hold on.
This is just like my situation.
Just wait. I know, but it's
the guy was, I thought, in a white t-shirt. What if it was just bandages?
Oh, God, that's scary. But assumed it was just the wind. A smell of rotting flesh overtook the two as the truck shook.
I didn't smell that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That would have stopped the making out pretty quickly, probably.
I wasn't making out.
Okay, pal. As the truck shook as if someone had climbed onto the back. Looking through the small window, they were terrified to see a man covered in bloody bandages staring back at them.
Dude.
Yeah. The bandaged man began yelling out and banging on the top of the truck. The driver started up the car and peeled out of the spot, swerving down the road, nearly avoiding a crash. When they finally stopped and turned back, the bandaged man was gone. After driving into a well-lit area, however, the driver crept out of the truck and searched the back. there, he would find pieces of torn bandages.
That's wild.
Yeah, dude. Since that day, there have been several reports of the bandage man appearing to others in the back or on top of their cars. Some claim his appearance has caused multiple accidents and deaths. The legends say the bandage man is now a type of ghoul or zombie looking to feed on flesh. Often missing pets along Cannon Beach are later found half-eaten, and they're said to be victims of the bandage man. Others have said he is now a type of ghost that wanders around Highway 101 in Cannon Beach with his spirit forever tied to the place where he died. So if you ever drive along Highway 101 and smell rotting flesh, be careful and drive fast. So, yeah, dude, I think the thing that's interesting too is it goes on to talk about, it continued on, it was really big in the 50s and 60s. In 1974, a student at the University of Oregon who was like she was part of the folklore program, wrote a paper on it about the bandage man of Cannon Beach. And some people believe that like a lot of that is like where a lot of the details came, because in doing so, I mean, this is like a huge article that I'm reading, but she would interview like a ton of sort of the old timers in the area, which kind of reminds me of like our Foxfire books.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and kind of what Soza Bear's doing right now.
Oh yeah. Which, by the way, when are we going to do?
We got to have those guys on. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, they ended up calling. There was an article back in '54 that called this portion of the highway Death Row. That just all this kind of like crazy, weird, anomalous amount of accidents on this like little, stretch of road. It just kind of like the percentage game is just wild, for that area. But I don't know. I just had to end on that one because
not a cryptid, but I'm so glad you included it because maybe that's what was turning on the lights in your house.
Oh God, I thought you were going to bring up your.
Oh no, it does. It does
movie
feel. Well, first, it feels very similar to the mysterious movie that I've been trying to find that I've plagued our listeners' ears about for years now. But also, if you remember from our first Halloween special, my own personal situation up on a mountaintop with a pickup truck and a stranger and all that.
Yep,
man, that's freaky.
Yeah,
the bandage man. I have to dive deeper into that, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's like not
right now.
Yeah, let's get into it now. Anyway, so there's actually a decent amount. I've never heard of this, and I tried. I had to bring up, a little bit into Sasquatch because that's sort of around his home place, his origins, in the Pacific Northwest and up in that area. But I love the ones that like we've never heard of, and so I feel like at this point in time in like modernity, the only ones that we haven't heard of are typically like the sort of the Indian, like
from
oral
Indian
tradition stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, this one was really cool because it falls more into like urban legend, like the hook, the man with like the hook, that whole kind of thing. There's like a whole backstory that's kind of legitimate. So I thought it was really cool. Anyway, it's so good to be back. I know the summer has been a little wild, but our kids are now back in school, which boy, summer is hard when you're trying to do a podcast and your kids are at your house and you're doing vacations and you got to do this and this. So hopefully I think we say this every year. We're looking forward to being back to some sense of normalcy, All right. Well, if you want to drop your own urban legend or local cryptid that you haven't heard us talk about, you can do so over on our Instagram. If it's more long form, shoot it to thatwouldberadpod@gmail.com. Even better, if you're brave enough to eventually possibly become part of That Would Be Rad history and make it into an episode, you can do so by leaving a voice memo over at thatwouldberadpodcast.com. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. It really, really helps. tell that weird friend about the show that you think they'd be into it, and buy us a coffee. You know, merch is on the way. Hopefully that we're getting back into normal living now that summer is kind of coming to an end. The best thing you can do if you do want to support the show is join our Patreon, The Rabbit Trail. It's just more of what you love, and it's a little looser, a little goosier, a little more recorded later at night, and if you can believe it, even more rambling than this show. So yeah, we really appreciate that. It really helps keep the lights on, and it's just kind of the best way to, you know, kind of in real time or on a personal level sort of show us how much you guys care about the show. It's really awesome. And my neighbor just cranked up the weed eater, so good Lord.
Yeah.
Anyway, perfect timing. You got anything else, Woody?
I think that's it.
All right, pal. Well, we love you. We appreciate you. And as always,
be rad.
That's the way it goes. Clouds in a time where I just needed some sunshine. You were already dead before you became a ghost. You always